outdoorsman who loves the fields and streams. They filter through this land of ours and fill the sportsman's dreams. Enjoy what nature holds for us, her bounty never ends. Getting back to basics with the practical sportsman. It's always an adventure, no matter where we go. From a favorite hunting spot to the hottest fishing hole. Outdoor life we all can share with family and friends. We'll do it all together with a practical sportsman. We'll do it all together with a practical sportsman.
We have a half moon in the sky. It looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. It's daybreak right now on the Kalamazoo River. We're at Saugatuck. Now this is the boat we took several times before when we've gone out with Best Chance Charters. This is a deluxe boat. One of the classiest boats we've ever been on, but get a load of this. Best Chance Charters has added a new and improved, I haven't even been on it yet, but this is what we're going to be fishing on for brown trout. We have a whole crew. I'll introduce you to these folks in a moment. You stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. You're watching The Practical Sportsman. See that boat? It's a 36-foot Tierra, deluxe fishing boat. You can buy a new one for $411,000. Some of the houses along the Kalamazoo River cost between $2.5 and $3 million, but you cannot rent those houses. You can rent the boat and crew, though, for $300 for a half day from Captain Dave Engel at Best Chance Charters in Saugatuck. You can save even more money by fishing off the pier. You have to walk a mile from the parking lot, and the salmon and trout aren't always in close like they are in the spring. The pier fishermen have been catching brown trout and a few steelhead, but success is much higher trolling from a boat along the shore. In April, the fishing is really close to shore, trolling with planer boards. The new inline planers have become more popular than the big planers, at least for this type of fishing. Charter boats have all the gear, rods, reels, thousands of lures, plus electronics for navigation and fish finding. That's why they're so successful in catching fish. Now, our guests on this trip were Larry and June Bryan from Coldwater. Larry just bought a 16-foot boat, so he was learning some of the techniques from Dave Engel that he could apply with his smaller boat. Maybe a laker? One of the first fish was a lake trout, not a bad one at that. What a job, what a job. It's a nice laker. Lake trout like this are relatively easy to catch during the summer in Lake Michigan, but on this day, April 28th, it doesn't count.
Season is closed.
Season is closed?
May 1st.
May 1st, well.
What a bummer.
Look at that lamprey scar, eh? Right under the fin?
Yep.
Old lamprey scar.
See a lot of them like that. He's out of here.
Yeah.
See you in a week.
Yeah?
We've been getting quite a few of those. Those alewife moved in here on the piers, and once they do, those lake trout follow them right in. So. And it's for a little extra fish, you know.
I mean, would you catch a lake trout near the surface here?
Oh yeah, we catch them right on those hot tots and stuff. You know, you're fishing so shallow that.
So in 14 feet, there's going to be anything.
Yeah, yeah. We're getting them all. We're getting lake trout, chinook, kings. Brown trout. No steelhead yet. Steelhead haven't come back out of the river, which is normal. Usually around the 1st of May we start getting the steelhead. Slide offshore for those. But as soon as the alewife come in here like they have, the first fish we catch are the brown trout along the beach, and they'll have what we call a shallow water sculpin. Kind of looks like a pollywog or something like that. And then it's almost all brown trout. As soon as the alewife show up, the kings show up. We start getting some nice kings, which we have all week, and the lake trout will come in here chasing the alewife.
10 days ago was a transition time for fishing off Saugatuck. The rod tips bobbed as the planer boards skittled on the surface. The lures had been attracting brown trout and a few lakers, but no steelhead and only a few salmon. But today, this was changing. The inline planers still worked, the same lures were used, but the wind started blowing from the east and the water temperatures were changing. We went out deeper. We didn't know it in the early morning hours, though, that this would become the warmest, calmest, most pleasant day on the lake so far this season. The fish that June and Larry would bring aboard would include the whole grand slam of Lake Michigan salmon and trout, lakers, browns, kings, coho, and steelhead.
Lift your rod up. There we go.
Yes. That's what we're looking for. Captain Dave was pleasantly surprised that June had hooked a steelhead because that means the water temperatures are finally starting to form some stratifications and identifiable breaks that attract steelhead and salmon. Into the built-in cooler it goes. Now, June's job wasn't done, though. Captain Dave was exploring this new water looking for new fish, and he found them.
Lift up on him a minute, walk back.
The salmon weren't running very large, which is typical at this time of year. You might catch 4 or 5 shakers, as they're called, before you get a big one. All it takes is a little time, and sooner or later, the reel will start running, line peeling out a big king using his power against the angler. That's the sign of a king salmon. For the first few minutes, it goes wherever it wants, just like that 800-pound gorilla.
I'm reeling, it's not reeling in, guys.
King salmon are powerful. And when we talk about fighting a fish, this is what fighting a fish is all about. A harness with a rod holder makes the job a little easier.
You got a long ways to go. King. Nice king.
At this time of year, the water temperature is in the 40s, and the fish are near the surface, so they often battle where you can see them. If you can't see them, you'll at least hear them yanking the line off the reel. Or maybe 2 reels if you hit a hot spot.
Double them up.
You got them both hooked up now. Larry Bryan had a shaker on for the double, while June was still tussling with the big boy. Everybody is happy when a big fish is at the back of a boat. We can see it, but the big fish isn't necessarily going to cooperate. This can be trouble if he tangles in the other lines.
He made a little run on us. Just keep reeling. Just keep reeling. Come on back here.
Now, Captain Dave steers the rod. June doesn't mind that at all. She said she was tired, but we all told her to stick with it. She's battled it this far. She might as well finish the job. Looks like Dave could net it between the downriggers, but whoops, changing plans. It swims off the corner.
Okay, now just lift. Whoop. Nice and slow. You don't jerk. Keep reeling. Just lift. Lift right on up. As high as you can lift. Oh.
Mission accomplished. This is the fish that most anglers look for, a hard-fighting Chinook salmon.
What do you think?
Awesome.
How do you feel?
Crazy. My arm's tired, though.
As the season marches on, the salmon will get bigger every day until August, when some 30-pounders will be boated. Captain Dave Engel will be following them as they grow.
Spring king. Doesn't get much better.
I love it.
No, it doesn't get much better, but the salmon do get bigger. The sun will get hotter too, and fishermen will continue to snooze while they're trolling. Pier fishing will slow down for salmon and trout until August. The summer is the time for fishing from boats. In Saugatuck, that's your best chance.
A nice king.
Of course, the big news is John Ford is back.
I'm back.
Now, you saw what Matt Radslowski and I did. Well, actually, it was June and Larry caught all the fish and best chance.
Yeah, where were you there?
We were off Saugatuck. Where were you?
I was at home taking
Now-
care of little Austin.
Okay, now we showed you what we have to show for our 2 weeks. What do you have to show for your 2 weeks?
I just happened to have brought a little picture along here with me.
There he is.
This is Austin Thomas Ford. Now, we tried to work in the Harrison thing, but
Harrison Ford wasn't going to get it?
too much pressure on the young man to become a star, so
I see. Now,
he's going to have to earn it.
How big was he?
He is, 7 pounds, 13 ounces.
Whoa, a big one.
Yeah.
Well,
Not the same size as Christopher.
I don't know how to go from this picture to our next subject, but it's turkeys and turkey hunting. Well, he'll be a little turkey hunter, won't he?
Yeah.
He needs some tips right now from Greg Abbas, the 5-time Michigan turkey calling champ.
Well, here's a nice set of tracks right here. On the right side we have a tom track, and on the left side's a hen. You could tell the difference in size. That tom track is quite larger than that hen. The hen's approximately 3/4 the size of the tom. I would say that that's a young tom, actually. It's not as big as it can be. But tracks are something I really look for. That's the sign you see the most, and you know they're coming through here.
So it's strictly the size of the track that determines whether it's a tom or a hen?
Oh, no doubt about it.
There's really no other way, but you just look for the size. That's what you're looking for, right?
Yes. Usually the tom's track's approximately 5 inches, whereas the hen's about 3 inches from tip to the back. This is one of those areas that the turkey's been traveling down, one of these backwoods roads. I noticed these tracks yesterday. I come in here last night and I messed up the road here. I messed up their tracks. I made it nice and smooth, and I want to narrow down what time they're coming through here. Now here I've got at least one tom and a hen walking through here, and looks like one bird stopped to dust himself or herself right there. Now what I'm going to do is mess this up again, come back another day and narrow down within an hour or two what time they're coming through here. That's one of my favorite tactics, and it works great. Now, as we can see, we have at least 2 sets of turkey tracks. We got a couple of deer tracks here, and heck, that technique works for deer and turkey both. Well, we're going to discuss some of the daytime locating calls. With me I have a crow call and a goose call. These are my 2 favorite to use during the daytime. Now, crow call has been on the market a long time, and it's been used a long time. I carry 2 of them because some areas I hunt, there are a lot of crow, and the turkey will ignore them after a while. The one thing to remember when you do blow your locator call is to blow it loud. You're trying to stimulate a gobble out of that gobbler. It's not going to attract him. It's not sexually stimulating, but any loud noise will make him gobble and reveal his location. When the crow call don't work, I do like to use a goose call. I'm going to blow the crow call first, and I like to give 3 hoots on that. It sounds like this. And I'll listen for a gobble. If you have a buddy with you, it's a good idea to set your buddy about 25 yards away, because while you're calling, he may be gobbling and you won't hear it yourself, but your partner will.
So Rick, why do you want to use something like that's not a turkey call? Why are you using, like, you know, a crow or something like that? Why wouldn't you use a turkey call to locate them?
I really don't like using the turkey calls because you may have birds that sneak in on you silently and then they'll see you. I like to use a call that's loud and natural that will stimulate him to gobble. Then I'll get into my turkey calling when I really want to attract him. Now the goose call here, now that's a natural sound to Michigan. They know it's not a threat. And I like to do this one pretty loud also. It's one of your louder calls. You could either do honks or double clucks, whatever you like. And then again, we'll listen for a gobble. This here looks like prime roosting area. Has everything they need. You have a nice little opening here, gives them room to fly up to that roost. You've got nice tall trees. You have oak, maple. Now, when they fly down from the roost, this area here is going to provide them with acorns. This is really a good place to start looking for a roost. Now from this point, I'd start looking for droppings or feathers. This is a good place to look. Also, if you have rivers or streams running through an area like this, ridges, those again are good places to start looking. I like to look along these bases of the trees and try to find a concentration of droppings. So here you have your acorns. That's a primary food source of the wild turkey. That one looks like it's been eaten up a little bit.
So Greg, once we locate a roosting area, what do you primarily do once you've determined where a turkey's roosting?
I like to determine which way they go when they get off the roost. I'll usually go out and scout that out. I'll listen for their gobbling activity, and if they travel to the east, for example, every morning, that's the direction I'm going to set up in come time for the hunt. I'm going to set up 80 to 100 yards away from that roost and hopefully attract him. It's much easier to attract him if that's where he wants to be. If he wants to move to the east, I'll set up to the east of that roost, about 80 to 100 yards away.
You know, I've heard a lot of different people do seminars and turkey seminars, things like that. I am impressed with Greg Abbas.
Greg really seems to know what he's doing. Matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can hunt with him because I have a permit.
Because you have a permit, and I'm in law school. And I'm not going to be hunting and not doing a lot of fishing
He's
this
got
summer.
some great tips, and we're going to have some more next week on more of the actual the hunting setups.
Well, and calling, because he's the 5-time Michigan turkey calling champ. Another thing, he's going to be at our outdoor fair in July, and he'll be doing seminars there. Great opportunity.
Looking forward to seeing that.
Great opportunity. Anyway, now we should get on to an actual story where somebody actually got a turkey.
Let's do that.
From Stockbridge. Oh, this is a southern Michigan turkey down in Jackson County, a 10.5-inch beard. You got this at 11 o'clock in the morning on the 29th of April.
Yeah.
What's this? Everybody quits hunting turkeys at 9.
I was on my way back driving down the road and I saw him standing in a field and
Kind of changed your mind.
yeah,
Huh?
had to go get him.
Well, what's it like hunting turkeys down there in Jackson County? It isn't exactly like up in the North Woods.
There's a lot of people, a lot of pressure. The birds are probably a lot smarter from the pressure.
Well, you saw this bird out in the field, so how did you approach it? It isn't just like walking out to him.
No, I was driving down the road. I saw him on a river bank, and they're out on the bottom end of a hill. So what I did is I parked up the road, and I walked up the other side of the hill, and I got to the top of the hill, and I'm looking down, and I got on my knees and looked at him thinking, oh, I'm going to get one. I'm finally going to get one. And it's the day before my birthday, so they're a little out of range, and there was a hen there, and I never saw her. She took off running, and the toms knew something was up. So I took off running down the hill at them, and they're running, and I took one shot and just totally waffled on it, shot a bunch of grass, and it jumped up in the air, and I shot about 10, 12 yards in the air.
You what?
I shot it out of the air.
Oh, I thought you shot 10 or 12 yards high. No, but the turkey was there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I'm still on the side of my mind. I'm still trying to figure out what your birthday has to do with this.
Well,
anybody catch that? It's his birthday.
Well, that was the day off I had from work for my birthday. I took that day off. It just happened to be, the Friday. I think it was the 29th.
You work someplace where they give you the day off before your birthday?
Well, I had to request vacation time, but...
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
Well, it did to me.
Okay, that's the main thing. Well, that's a heck of a story. Jeff Stutzman from Stockbridge down in Jackson County got that baby 12 yards off the ground. Good work. And happy birthday. Cheryl Haynes from Middleville has a great fish recipe she calls sweet and sour walleye, but you could use it on many types of fish. It calls for sautéing green pepper, onion, and snow peas in butter for about 5 minutes. Stir in a little cornstarch and a can of crushed pineapple and heat until it thickens. Then you add some brown sugar, vinegar, and soy sauce. Now, while that's simmering, mix a beer batter with some Fry Crisp batter mix. Well, that's the kind that Cheryl uses, but any batter mix will do. Cut your fish into 1-inch cubes, dip them into the beer batter, and fry in oil for a minute or two. Doesn't take long. Serve the fish on a bed of rice, pour the sweet and sour sauce over the top. Oh, yes, it's delicious. We'll send you a copy of Cheryl's recipe with the exact ingredients. Our address is coming up at the end of the show. You did watch the show last week?
Yeah, you owe me some golf balls.
Okay,
buddy.
That's right. But I did the announcement about the Wilderness Journal that this is the last issue. We will send the recipes to you. But next month, we're coming out with the Slick magazine. Now, okay, we have the Tiger Clays thing about the golf balls and the bowling. I got another one.
Oh, brother.
Another one. No, this is cool. While we were fishing down with Best Chance, Dave Engel and Kevin Schippa, I noticed Kevin is a speed reeler when he's reeling in a planer board or something, faster than anybody I've ever seen. Gave me an idea. We're going to have a speed reeling competition at the fair. We're looking.
How in the world are you going to do that?
Well, we're going to have 2 people with rods and reels. We're going to have a Big John downrigger weight.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And pull it through the sand over a long distance and see who can get it across there fastest.
Huh, that sounds cool.
Speed reeling. We got lots of things. In fact, we have so many amazing things while you were gone, John. I know you have an amazing thing. But morel season is upon us. May is morel month. The first batch of morels, we call this our morel moment. May is morel month in Michigan. I got the Hanson brothers, both of them here, who are from Bath and North Lansing. There's Jim Hansen, Randy Hansen. Last year, you came in and showed us some morels. I mean some morels.
Some big ones.
Some big ones. What do you got this year? This
Some
is your
small
first,
ones.
This is on May 1st, the first successful day. They have not revealed the contents of the bag yet. Randy, please share with us. It has been a slow morel year. We want to state that right off the bat.
Yes.
That this is the first of the morels.
And these are small.
We lost one on the ground there, Jim.
I got it.
You got that. These are small?
Very small.
Now hold it. Here's a big one.
That one is probably the smallest one I found last year. Is about that size.
Is that right? I tell you, these are yeah, they are small morels, but they're all white morels.
Yeah,
believe so.
Yeah, some darker white ones.
Yeah, so haven't got any sunlight.
Interesting texture they have on these. From your experience, have you ever cooked them up this small before?
Maybe as small as these bigger ones, but.
So how are you gonna cook them?
I'm gonna dehydrate them.
And then use them
like in spaghetti or, in different recipes.
Now, how long did this miraculous batch take you to collect?
Hour.
An hour? Boy, you have to have good eyes to see some of these little teeny ones.
Oh, we went to the same spot. We've been getting them for years, so that's probably what they're going to be like.
So the story is, the reason the morels have come out just at the, end of April, first day of May, is because of the rain we've had.
The warm rain, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had any rain. It's been dry. But this is the first of it. And hopefully, the morels won't be like the smelt. The smelt kind of teased us with a few little smelt like this. Well, this is great, guys, and I know you're darn proud of this plate, aren't you?
Yeah, I just really wanted to be on TV with that.
Well, if you get some big ones,
I'll bring them in.
We'll bring them in. They'll show you some of their favorite spot where they got some huge morels. Hey, thanks, guys, for sharing this moment.
Welcome.
The classic morel moment on May 1st. That was a tiny morel moment, but the Hansen brothers, Randy Hansen, just brought a bag of morels, and they're much better right now. He says this is the size that are out, the big white morels down here in the Bath area. But what you should do, get yourself a paper bag and get out looking for morels. May is morel month in Michigan, and the outdoors is a great place to be. See you next week. This is Michael Mueller.
Yes.
From Berkeley.
Yeah.
This is 11.5-pound walleye from Lake Huron.
Yeah.
And you caught it by yourself?
Yes, I did.
You want to tell me about it?
Well, we were driving up to Lake Huron. When we got there, we started to drive out about a few miles out. We weren't catching anything for a few hours, and then we.
Who's we?
Me and my dad.
Okay, and he was driving the boat.
Yes. And we decided to fish for a lake trout. My dad put a silver spoon on.
And you fished right down at the bottom.
On a downrigger rod, yeah. And 5 minutes later, after we put the lure down, this fish hit the lure and then took it for about 50 yards, and it took about 20 minutes to get it in the boat.
And you were doing the whole time?
Yeah.
Your dad was running the boat?
Yes.
And did he net it?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. It was the biggest fish you ever caught, huh?
Yes.
Now, where do you hang it at home?
On my wall over my dresser.
Very good. So you can look at it every morning when you get up. Good man, Michael Mueller.